The moment you swipe a credit card, sign a loan, or miss a payment, you enter an economy most Americans don't even realize exists. An economy that doesn't grow by creating value, but by extracting it. An economy that gets richer when you struggle more. This is the hidden economy built on American debt and once you see it, you can't unsee it. America doesn't just tolerate debt, it depends on it. Debt isn't a temporary tool anymore. It's the foundation of daily life. For millions of Americans, debt isn't about luxury or bad decisions. It's about rent, healthcare, education, transportation, and basic survival. And behind every one of those needs is a system quietly designed to profit from pressure. The uncomfortable truth is this: the U.S. economy grows when people borrow, not when they save. Credit cards, auto loans, student loans, medical debt, buy dash now dash pay dash later. Plans, these aren't side effects. They're pillars. When borrowing slows down, markets panic. When people pay off debt too quickly, profits fall. That alone tells you this system isn't built for stability. Debt used to be a bridge, something temporary to help you move forward. Today, it's a destination. Most Americans are introduced to debt before they're fully employed, live inside it for decades, and often die with it. Every stage of that journey creates revenue: interest, fees, penalties, data sales, collections, even bankruptcy generates profit. There is no moment where the system stops charging. The hidden economy starts quietly. A credit card balance that feels manageable. A student loan justified as an investment. A car payment that fits the budget. First, everything feels normal, responsible, even. But then life intervenes. Rent increases, healthcare costs spike, a job change resets benefits. Inflation eats away at purchasing power. And suddenly, debt stops being a choice and becomes a lifeline. This is where the system tightens. Minimum payments keep balances alive. Interest compounds silently. Fees appear when you're already stretched. Thin late fees, overdraft fees, convenience fees. Each one small enough to seem harmless, but powerful enough to keep you behind. The goal isn't to crush you instantly. The goal is to keep you paying indefinitely. Credit card interest rates reveal the logic clearly. Rates above 20%, even 30%, are normalized. In any other context, this would be called predatory. But here it's standard business. The system assumes struggle. In fact, it requires it. If everyone paid off balances every month, the model would collapse. Medical debt is one of the most brutal pillars of this hidden economy. No one plans for it. One illness, one accident, one emergency, and suddenly, you renegotiating bills you dainty understand from institutions that 1T lower prices but will happily offer payment plans. Hospitals get paid. Insurance companies protect margins. Collection agencies step in. The patient becomes a revenue stream. Student debt follows the same pattern, just stretched across decades. It's sold as opportunity, but often delays adulthood. It's self-home ownership, family planning, savings, risk-taking. Monthly payments linger, balances barely shrink, and entire life decisions are shaped around debt that never seems to end. Yet it's framed as normal, because it's profitable. Then there's the debt no one labels as debt: time. Americans trade hours, health, and rest just to keep up. Multiple jobs, side hustles, overtime, burnout. The hidden economy doesn't just consume money, it consumes energy. Exhausted people don't challenge systems, they survive inside them. What makes this economy so powerful is invisibility. Debt doesn't look like crisis, it looks like normal life. Everyone has it. Everyone jokes about it. Normalization makes it permanent. And when something is permanent, it stops being questioned. Once you fall behind, escape becomes harder. Miss a payment and your credit score drops. Lower score means higher interest rates. Higher rates mean higher payments. Higher payments increase stress. Stress leads to more mistakes. Oh, this isn't a glitch, it's a loop. Self-reinforcing cycle designed to keep people inside the system. Credit scores themselves aren't neutral. They don't just measure risk, they control access. Where you live, what you pay, whether you can move, whether you can start over. One number decides your freedom, and that number is shaped primarily by debt. Behind the scenes, entire industries exist to monetize unpaid balances. Old debts are bundled and sold for pennies on the dollar. Collection agencies buy them in bulk. Lawsuits are automated. Wages are garnished. Accounts are frozen. Financial pain becomes inventory. Even solutions feed the same machine. Debt consolidation, refinancing, balance transfers. These don't remove debt, they rearrange it. They keep you paying longer. The system doesn't want you drowning. It wants you floating just enough to keep making payments. What's most unsettling is how early this economy starts. Teenagers are taught about credit before income. Young adults are encouraged to borrow before they understand consequences. By the time most people realize how the system works, they're already inside it with obligations that can't simply be walked away from. And when people struggle, the blame is personal. Bad budgeting, poor choices, lack of discipline. The structure itself is never questioned. Wages stagnate, costs rise, safety nets shrink. Debt fills the gap. Then the system points at the borrower and says, "You should have planned better." Shame is one of the system's most powerful tools. People don't talk openly about debt, but they internalize it as failure. That silence protects the system, because when everyone thinks they're alone, no one pushes back. Here's the reality most people never hear. If debt disappeared tomorrow, large parts of the American economy would collapse. Profits would fall. Markets would panic. Entire industries would struggle. Debt isn't a fraud's fuel. That's why the system isn't designed to help you escape. It's designed to help you manage just enough to survive, enough to work, enough to pay, enough to continue. This is why so many Americans feel exhausted but stuck, why progress feels impossible, why working harder doesn't lead to relief. They're feeding an economy that doesn't reward stability, only dependence. Once you see the hidden economy built on American debt, everything makes sense. The anxiety, the burnout, the constant sense that something is wrong, even when you're doing everything right. This isn't about individual failure. It's about a system that monetized survival land, turned debt into one of the most powerful industries in modern America. And the most dangerous part is this. The system doesn't need force to keep going. It runs on normalization, on silence, on the belief that this is just how life works. But now that you see it, the question becomes unavoidable. If an economy only thrives when its people are financially stressed, who is it really built for?